minutes past the start time. So looks like it's starting here. You know what? Hey guys, thanks for testing out the beginning. I'm going to go ahead and start over again. Here I was talking to people online. All right, guys, welcome to the Photography with Low-Cost Equipment class. Fortunately, there is an introduction slide about this later, so I don't have to go off on that tangent again. Pretty much, guys, this class is about doing photography with low-cost equipment. For those who are online, thanks for joining in with us. Vincent, grab a seat. All right. So, guys, welcome and introductions. I'm Trent. Chris isn't here right now. Jamie's over there, and Patrick, you guys don't see their names up. The venue. Wow, we're already back here after initially starting just a few minutes ago. But anyways, the venue is provided by Mike Noah, which is Photoplex. Guys, this place is amazing. We'll talk about it a little bit more in just a second. But the third one's also important too. Aperture Rent, Oscar and Lily are amazing people. If you guys ever want to rent equipment, just use the code MEETSHOOT10 and you will get 10% off your total order. This is great. Something I always throw out to people when it comes to studio or comes to equipment rental is if you're traveling, rent it. Even if you own photography equipment, rent it and get the insured one. If something happens, you don't lose your camera. You're insured. It's almost a no-brainer. So even if you don't expect to rent anything anytime soon, guys, if you're traveling, throw that into your budget and don't put your equipment on the line. Just go ahead and secure it. Rent something nice. Go ahead and get a D800. Go ahead and get a 5D Mark III with a nice lens and rent it out and get it from Aperture Rent because Oscar will treat you well. So remember, MEETSHOOT10 is the code that you will use there. All right, so a little bit about MEETSHOOT, guys. We are an organized photography media crew based in Atlanta, Georgia. We promise to deliver amazing photo shoots, great workshops and classes, sterling models, both on teams, high equipment, and a great media experience. Something that makes MEETSHOOT stand out, in my opinion, after running this for 4 years and running other social groups, is we are an education-based group. Main thing is how can we expand your potential and educate you is our mission. It's not about socialization per se or anything like that. It's pretty much how can we help you as a photographer move forward, because down the line what we want is when you are too busy to tell people or to teach people, you know exactly where to send them. That's our long-term game, guys. I won't lie to you there. There is something we expect from you guys. You're going to get busy. You're going to follow your passion, or truthfully, you might not want to teach anyone because it's a different skill set. So the people who run MEETSHOOT, me included, we actually have that education background, and we've done it for a while. This is probably about the 260th, 270th event that I've hosted under MEETSHOOT. We've done this a lot, guys. So we're kind of used to it. Essentially, the other main mission we have is we're all photographers. Jamie's a photographer, Chris, me, Patrick. You're giving us money, we're setting up the shoot, and we refuse to set up anything that we wouldn't shoot ourselves. And so that's a main factor there. It's not about setting up something half-assed, excuse the language, and then expecting you guys to come in. It really is a lot of effort that gets put into it, and it's important to us. For if anyone who doesn't know me, because what I've noticed is there's a lot of new faces, you guys might not even know me. Have you guys seen my work? It's one of those things where my work's okay, but you guys can probably see diversity. The main thing that I want everyone, or most people to say when they see my work is, okay, technically, it's good. It might not be necessarily what I want to do, but as a photographer, technically he knows what he's doing, or they know what they're doing, and I can learn from that. Because it's not about the content per se, but those small technical things that you can glean off a class like this, or a lecture, or so forth. So anyways, we always have full shoots for Python. Check our meetup.com page or our website. Shoots can range from premium members or have an extremely low cost. Our shoots, our events, our classes, they're always, for some reason, they're always cheaper than what the market says they should be. It's always been that way. But something I love is most every comment we receive is, Trent, I paid $150 for this class that you charge $70 for, and you gave us more. So it's almost like for the last 4 years, we hear that all the time. So, Rodney, would you agree with that? So that's something we take pride in, and something that's been going for a good while there. Not broadcasting? Oh, not broadcasting the. Thank you, sir. comes to me just having a crazy day. All right, full screen. For anyone who's online who didn't see anything, that is my bad. You only missed a few slides. But you heard pretty much everything. All right, guys. So a little bit more about Meet and Shoot. 2013, we started a new membership program offering member lessons, shoots, and more, all for a low cost of $25. Essentially, we love doing this. We love just doing these small little setups, and for the $25 fee, we pretty much use it as or you use all the money that you guys have given us to set up shoots, make sure we have studios available for you guys and so forth. We'll give you a little bit more information there. We have 2 TFP member-only shoots planned per year. There's one coming up soon. Essentially, it's free for you guys. You set a big, giant shoot. It's going to be a lot of people, but it's also a lot of models. But here's the cool thing with it. We set up 11, 12 lighting setups, and we let you go and let you have fun. And here's the education portion about it. It's not one light here, one light there. We bring the whole armada. We bring the whole arsenal in. And we set up 11 different light setups. So you, as a photographer, can say, I like that. Because something that Meet and Shoot's always done is if you love a photo setup, step back, take a picture of the setup. It's all available to you. There's nothing proprietary because, hell, we probably took it off the internet somewhere too. I mean, the internet's been a great thing for me. I'm not thinking, hey, I'm going to plagiarize a setup that but I'm sure I was influenced by something 6 or 7 years ago. And so something that we are, really, really big about is it's all available to you. If you message me or Chris or Jamie and say, hey, what lights were used and what settings, if we know the settings, we'll tell you. We will tell you what the lights are. We really don't hide anything about it. And so that's one of the things that we love about that. And for the TFP member shoot, Jamie said, go. Right. For the TFP member shoot, that's what we love to do. We get a bunch of models, some that have worked with us before, some that are completely new, and the other main benefit there is you as a photographer, it's a complete networking social where we expect you to work with them on your own time. Hey, Elizabeth. Okay. Jimmy, can you grab the blue chair for her, and then put it over here. All right, so as always, we need your help to spread the word. Having more people at these events always help. And then one of the other things with members too is these free streaming education, or these education things, are now streaming and archived on the web. And so if you missed one, you can go back and watch one. For those who are online, the only thing I'll go ahead and apologize for is all the little technical hiccups that we have, and also to keep it flowing, I don't answer any of their questions online. I'm sorry for anyone who's ever going to miss it, not be around, but for those who made the trip, that's your bonus. That's your bonus point, or that's your bonus that you get. Because for those who've been here a bunch of times, you guys know we give consultation type answers, or consultant type answers, and we charge nothing. Like later, when we're not busy, you can ask us anything photography related, and we will answer it for you. And so you being here, that's the benefit of making the trek out. All right. So, Studios for Members. One of the other things that we were excited about is this year we got studios that, unfortunately, they're not free for you to use, but they are almost free when you consider it. But what we did is we have 3 studios that we have access to. There's Lightweight Studio all the way to the right, there's Dark Flower Studio at the bottom, and there's Photoplex here. And essentially, Photoplex, as mentioned, is $50 for 2 hours for the month and 35 hours. Most other studios around here are $65 an hour to start. And so that's a no-brainer there. Dark Flowers, that's a little bit more expensive, but it's worth it because you get the whole goat farm grounds. You get the studio, you get a dressing room. It's a 4-hour window that you have to spend, and it's $175 for each members. It's capped at bringing 3 photographers, so you can bring 2 of your friends, bring it down to $57 a piece. But here's the kicker. All of our studios are fully equipped with lights that we left there for Meet and Shoot members to use. You do not have to worry about light rentals. It actually comes with Dark Flower. There's 4 lights, including a ring flash, a white lighting 800, full of modifiers and so forth. There's a couple Einsteins at Buford plus a few other things. If you want to do video and you want to do photography, it has everything you need there: venue, equipment, and so forth. Buford is 15 Main Street in Buford, and I believe it's only $100 for 4 hours. The contact point for Buford is Chris Warwick. Lynn, I'll send you guys the information later, and then Mike Noah is at the upper left. Cool thing about that, guys, studio is extremely intimidating. I'll go ahead and say that. We teach education courses and all that, but it also allows you to learn in a structured environment. Once you're used to it, the studio is really, really, really nice to have, but it is a little bit annoying when you're first starting with it. With that, if you're able to get a couple of partners in or a couple of friends and rent Dark Flower Studios for 4 hours, almost guaranteed you're going to get something great because you can shoot outside and in. And the location, if you've never been to the Goat Farm before, they've shot The Walking Dead there, they've shot Hunger Games. It's good enough for Hollywood, it's good enough for us. It's really nice, and if you think about it, it's $57 for 4 hours. Charge somebody $50 for headshots, and charge another person $50 for headshots, and you're making some money, and you have this amazing location. All right. So this weekend, unfortunately, it's on Mother's Day. I didn't realize that. So we're still going to shoot, but we're going to be done fairly quick. We have swimwear at the lake. There's 5 spots available. It's only $75, guys. Absolutely amazing. We bring a bunch of equipment out, and we let you guys shoot. We let you guys have fun. Elizabeth is one of the models. Danielle's another, and there's another surprise model coming up too. For those who don't know and never been to meet and shoot before, we have a strict 5 photographers to 1 model max policy. If we ever break another 5, we introduce another model, stuff like that. So it gives you a lot of time to work with models and just have a good time there. So as always, that's a go. This one I'm extremely excited to go ahead and mention. Pre-registration is open. We're trying this out for the first time for a Fantasy in the Woods shoot. If you guys have followed my Facebook stream or anything like that, you guys know this week, I believe, that was, what day was that? Friday? That was Friday. That was Sunday. That was Monday. Yeah, I shoot a lot. Pretty much, if you guys have never followed me on Facebook, there's pretty much a new photo shoot every day or every other day. That's just how it goes. So essentially, this one's going to be a fun one because models dress up in a fantasy-inspired outfit. Sarah's already on there, and she's going to dress either as an elf or a dryad, because I know she's watching, and she's going to dryad. Elizabeth, I haven't asked you yet, because I don't know. But Erin's going on. Erin, we were asking her to be a Viking princess, so she's like, well, fur and chainmail isn't necessarily that great in summer, but knowing Erin, she's going to do it. So it's really going to be neat, and it's going to be pretty awesome. So if you want to pre-reg for it, I can promise you it's going to be more than $40. We're probably going to cap it at about 15 people, but if we can pre-reg a few, that's going to go ahead and help us there. So we're aiming for either June or September. June, I love, but I hate 95-degree with 100% humidity. And then September, it's going to be nice because of the leaves, but it's September, and I kind of want to do this sooner because it just seems really interesting. So, all right, today our model is Elizabeth, who's sitting right there, amazing outfit. She'll get some pointers to class afterwards if time allows. More than likely, it will allow. Sorry for those who are online. Not really. You should have been here. You guys, if you brought a camera, you can shoot. If you do, I can almost guarantee you this is terrible. We've had about, let's say, not throwing 800 people go to meet and shoot events. I will guarantee you about 250 to 300 have her on their portfolio. Go to any photographer you know in Atlanta's website. If they've ever gone to APG or meet and shoot, look at their portfolio. I mean, there is no other model I will guarantee will be in your commercial portfolio. It is almost a given. Like, have you guys ever seen her in any other person's portfolio? Look for her now. You'll be like, what the hell? She's everywhere. The cool thing though is she's extremely versatile. So yeah, I think at the old Hollywood one we did back in September, there were 70 people there, and I went to like 17 of their websites, and she's on there. So she's always on there. So, and there were 70. Yeah, I think in that class in that shoot there was like 76 people, and about 43 of them were shooting with, like, trying to shoot you. So it happens all the time. All right, so what are we covering in this lecture, guys? Do you need expensive equipment to take quality photographs? No, not at all. Something I will go ahead and say here is photos were done 60 years ago, and you know what? There were good photos 60 years ago. That's how I feel about it. They had subpar equipment in what we consider today, but you know what? They did the work. And so saying something that is an amazing benefit now is photography is getting a lot more popular. It's always been nice. It's always been great, but it was pretty much a luxurious thing. But now it's really mainstream in comparison. And so come watch us as we use inexpensive equipment more to take quality photographs that you can pass as professional work. Something I also like mentioning when I teach classes is no one knows or cares what you're shooting with, what's outside of the frame. They only know what you show them. And so if you're ever in an emergency and you're taking photos and you don't have studio lights, you have $5, go to the store, buy a $2 poster board. That's a reflector. No one will ever know you had that. They will look at, maybe they can look in the eyes and see that you have a reflector, but that's $2 you spent because you didn't have a reflector in your car. You got hired last second to do headshots for, let's say, the CEO of Coke. Well, he can hold it or she can hold it right underneath her, sun's behind her, and it works. And those are the things you do. And that's inexpensive, those are inexpensive tricks. And so Trent, which is weird because that's me, we'll use $50 strobes, old cameras. I didn't bring the old camera, guys, because I wasn't using 6 deep or tethering, but old lenses, he put to the task of showing how to get good results. Rodney, you're going to love this. None of this was pre-planned. I didn't say I'm going to do this. It's just all going to be like whatever. It's going to, like, every mistake that happens, you're going to see it happen. Every success, I've been shooting for a while, so I'm not really too scared about this. But Rodney, you like this. I think a few other people point out. It's not always 100% going to work. And so I will tell you, this is excuse language, this is a fuck up. Let's go ahead and fix it. So this is a very organic and go with the flow type thing. The only rule for this thing is nothing is going to cost more than $50 to $60. So except the camera. We'll be using a cheap strobe, cheap modifier, and a pretty crappy lens. I have a really crappy lens on my camera right now. I will go ahead and say this. There is, where is it? This guy. Speed lights are cheap now, guys. You can get speed lights like a young new 560 flash for like $50, $60. This one is $100. So I kind of broke the rules there, but you guys can get a comparable one for $50, $60. I just didn't want to worry about it. And we are using we're using wireless transmitters. I decided to save a little bit of money and not buy $30 transmitters, and I'm using my $100 transmitters. Technically, there's two, so if you split them in half, it's $50 each. So it's within the rules. So there's a certain set of wireless triggers that I use for weddings. Those are the ones we're using today. All right, so what are we covering in this class more? Meet and shoot. Here's something that's important. Just so you guys know how meet and shoot is structured. Yes, we use expensive equipment. The reason why we use expensive equipment is not necessarily for a lot of the faces in here, but there is some. If a student ever comes in, the reason why we use the equipment we do is so they have working experience on what majority of you guys would use. And so for anyone who wants to be a second shooter, an assistant, it's exactly the reason why we use pocket wizards. Do we want to? No, because it costs us $2,400 to get all the pocket wizards we've had. But those are the small little things that we've told ourselves. We have to get this equipment because in the long run, as we educate people and they go out, they're going to say, go to these guys. If you can't do a 6-week, a 6-year, or a 2-year program at school, go to these guys and they'll be able to still teach you. You'll be able to get within 6 months what you need to actually really succeed as a photographer. And I'll go ahead and say this, never, ever, ever ask me to intern, because this guy had to do it. And how many shoots have you done now since, or not intern, but just, I don't know, this guy was just nice, but I think you probably have done over 90 in the last 7 months. So we shoot a lot. So it's one of those things, it's really fun. But if you're starting out and you want great results, you have a budget. This lecture hopefully will inspire you to evaluate your potential. It's going to show you things that you can do with different equipment and so forth. And just go ahead and open your eyes to the possibilities. Cool thing about that too is these are the equipment shared online link-wise. So there's a direct link to purchase it. Please purchase it that way, guys, because full disclosure, my Amazon referral code's on there, and so I get my great 7 cents if you buy the light directly from us. So, all right. So some concepts. Let me go ahead and point this out, guys. Tonight's lecture is not a class. We do teach classes that break down lighting. Why did I light it this way? Why did I do this? Why did I do that? We will answer to the best of our abilities, but it's not all right, I'm going to answer 100% for you, because we do teach a class, teach a class and a bunch of stuff like that, but also to keep the flow going. So we'll try to answer questions, but for more details, please sign up for our classes that are relevant to that subject. All right. All right, so here's what we're using today, guys. Here's an overview of the equipment. Check out our meetup.com link for this event for a direct link to purchase these items. Here's a Broly box from Cowboy Studios. I'll go ahead and give you the prices too, so you guys know I'm within the rules. It's a nice little Broly box, Broly-based one. I've used it already for the shoot and Aaron. So it's this guy here. It comes with a grid. That's the cool part. And it was, I don't remember, I think it was 33 bucks. So we got that there. This one's a fun one, the newer. This crappy box that I came in. I actually tried it out. It's pretty bright. Did we take it out, Jane? It's right there. All right, so that box was super tiny when I got it. But here's the light. It's cute. It's 50 bucks. And it works, there's no complaints about it. I haven't really done more than just do a few casual direct shoots with it, but actually, I might watch. It is 180 watts. Alright, so it feels cheap, guys. Here's a quick review. It works. It feels cheap. It's just go buy a Mercedes logo, put it on there. It's small, so maybe people will think it's like an iPhone or something, like an Apple product, but it works. Cool part about that is small is not necessarily a bad thing. For those who don't know, here's a Canon user. Who are Nikon users? The Canon 600 EX RT has a guide number of 58. The SB910 has a guide number of 58. And they're about $500, $400. This one, if you modify it the right way, will probably have a guide number of, I would say, 240. And so this light is a lot stronger, but it's manual only. And so it's one of those things where cost doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get more. This light's going to put out a lot more. And so just be aware of that. Guide numbers and measurement. If you're a Canon user, I'll go ahead and tell you this. Actually, I was wrong about the 600. If you're ever wondering what your power level is on a Canon, divide the model number by 10, and that's the guide number. So the old 580EX had a guide number of 58. The 430EX had a guide number of 43. Do you guys see where that's going? The 600 has a guide number of 60. And so any Canon lens or camera or flash that you buy, take the number, divide it by 10, and if you're wondering how much more powerful the next one is, there you go. 27 into 32 and 43, blah blah blah. All right, so we have a gridded snoot for my flash. Got that right here. That's 10 bucks. All right, we have Photox triggers. Should have taken this all out, but I guess it's actually kind of nice to be able to do that. All right, any wedding shooters in here? Anyone who's interested in shooting weddings at all? Those triggers are one of the best things I've ever bought in my life. The reason why is if you look at the triggers themselves, when you have normal wireless triggers, it's a dummy trigger that says that flash goes off, and it's a pretty much you put this on top of your camera. Sorry, which one is it? Go back. Put this on top of your camera, and you can't put a flash. It's pretty much a trigger, so you're triggering the lights. This one actually has what's called the TTL pass-through. So you put this on your camera, you put your flash on top, you still have the automatic functionalities of your flash, but you're triggering all the other ones manually. And so this is probably the greatest thing that's ever been invented as a wedding shooter. Because I don't care about the outside lights being automatic. I need my light to be automatic. And so these are only $100 for the pair, and oh shit, that's my microphone. So that's there. Second item on the bottom here I feel so sorry for the online people. This is exactly why you shouldn't come online. So, poor microphone was down there the whole time. Broly box, guys. Broly boxes are pretty much a no-brainer. I don't know if you brought one in, Jamie. Can you check your car? Anyone here has worked with an umbrella before? Essentially, you have two umbrellas. You have an umbrella that you open and it's silver on the inside and it spills out. That works. That works just fine. But then you have a white umbrella. Has anyone ever shot a shoot-through umbrella? Don't use them. The reason why I say that is if you're outside and you have an umbrella, we'll go ahead and pretend that this is a shoot-through umbrella. And sorry, I'm normally not a big don't use it person, but in a case like this, it's almost like don't use it. So let's pretend this is see-through and it's shooting through. Problem you have here, guys, it's half the light, if not more, going back. Completely useless. So if you're outside shooting white shoot-through umbrella, you're pretty much lowering the power of your light. Your 600 EX becomes equivalent of 270, a 300. It's just you're losing a bunch of power. If you have it the other way, it's useful. But it's kind of, sorry guys, spreads around everywhere. With a Broly box, what happens is there's a Broly box for both sides, but you have a white shoot-through umbrella, you have your front portion, and then it has a back panel. It has a silver back panel that makes sure all the light pushes through. On the other reverse end, you also have you have the ones I prefer, which James is getting one from the car, where you open it up, it opens like an umbrella, but then it's a white diffusion cloth there. And so it's just a portable soft box. And Leatherwoods uses what's called a soft lighter. And a soft lighter is just a Broly box. It's a $100 Broly box. These are $20. So it's kind of one of those things. Almost the exact same thing. I think the only difference between a soft lighter and these Broly boxes is they have soft lighters have an odd number of spines. So instead of 6, or instead of it's an octagon shape. It might have 9. I don't know. It's something where it's justified to be $100. So it's a $100 umbrella. And lastly, I showed you the flash there. All right. And so, guys, now we're going to go ahead and start shooting. Let me make sure that we actually are getting internet online. For anyone who's online, guys, it's going to be a little bit more tedious here. I was not able to get, there's some new wireless password and stuff like that over here, and for some reason my wireless tethering is not working. And so what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to switch it to the video camera, which obviously now is not working. Oh, great. And hopefully get you guys on it. What is this? Why is it not showing at all? No. Anyone want to venture a guess why the camera? It seemed like it, wouldn't it? For anyone who's online right now, I apologize. We're trying to get the camera working. It was working earlier, but it's refusing to show up now. Let's go ahead and close that down. All right. Do the good old switcheroo here. All right, guys. Sorry, online people. We're switching the USB cable. Jamie, if you can go ahead and put that. Actually, I'll handle that because I have to do it a certain way. Of course, it's not showing. yeah, let's. I feel so bad because they're online and they can't see anything. We got more users too. Try Jamie. I have no idea. Might want to just go share the screen. All right, guys. So what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and make sure everything's set up here and get this triggering going. All right, guys, for those who are online, we're still trying to fix the camera. I apologize there, but what I'm doing now is I'm actually getting the light together with Elizabeth. I really wish she does show up. All right, so guys, this is a umbrella on the inside, and pretty much put it through, and essentially shoot through it. That light black. No, actually, this light is not correct because it's a standard umbrella, and there's umbrellas on the umbrella. Oh, really? Hey, look, what I'm hoping that we all have to do is a full shoot. That's what I'm thinking. If it's a full shoot, I don't know how to restart the stream, but I want them to see this. All right, guys. So I have this thing on full power, and here's this is pretty much about 30. Let's say $80 in equipment right here, total. Sure this is a go. All right, so I got my super crappy lens, my 100-200 right here, and actually I love this focal length, guys, because if you don't know, at 5.6 you get an extremely high amount of or shallow depth of field. At 100-200 higher millimeter length, you know, you'll still get really shallow depth of field. If you're able to shoot like 600 millimeter at 5.6, it's, you know, it's pretty much razor thin. And so in this case here, we're gonna try shooting ISO 50. One of the benefits of being able to shoot this camera. And change my picture style. I actually use picture styles on my camera. If you're not familiar with picture styles are, can you get it? I'm trying to remember what it's called. Scene mode or something like that. It's called something else, but essentially, if you shoot RAW, it doesn't affect your images as much, but if you shoot JPEG, it actually places a, or it edits the JPEG a little bit. And this, or in whatever setting you want. I have a special black and white one I use. Alright, so guys, for some reason, I have no idea, I'm going to say this, I'm really used to getting within the exposure that I want here. And so this is shot right here. I'll go ahead and put it on the main screen. Go ahead and get it going. Switch to your screen share. Please we can share this to them. I'm so sorry, online people, that the webcam's not working. You're missing a lot of amazing stuff over here. So What a jerk. All right, so guys, this is the shot. So using the studio strobe and all that, it's a little bit bright, but for some, it's one of those things where after about 5-6 years of shooting, so this is about 2007 or so on, just really looked at scenes, looked at studio lights, and said, this is where I'm going to start. So it's just one of those things. The reason why I'm mentioning that is I've actually noticed that as a wacky thing that screen share, full screen, start screen share. All right, that's happening for. So here's a shot that we just took with it, and so it looks fairly cool, right, guys? And so what we're going to do, once again, I shoot black and white, a black and white color or picture style. But for those who aren't aware of it, if you shoot black and white, but you shoot RAW and JPEG, your RAW files are always in color, and your JPEG file has the algorithm that, or has the picture style that you want on it. So I like the way that looks. James, can you see if you fix that? Elizabeth, can I have you have your hands up until I'm very finished? The only thing I didn't like about this one, guys, is the inside is where you adjust the tilt. And how I don't even know what tilt is. It's going to turn it. Yeah. Alright, see that? That's hands. Look towards the. This thing haunts for focus so bad. This lens cracks me up. It's so nice. It's like a $20 Craigslist lens I buy. I don't even remember how do I even have this lens?
I don't remember. Traded somebody some magic beans.
All right, go ahead and look towards the left. For those who've never attended one of our lighting classes, one of the first things we tell people is to go ahead, and if you don't know what you want the model to look, have them look. The reason why we do that is the lighting falls completely across the face. You can see how the lighting falls and so forth. And it gives you the opportunity to write the model just so you have a little more time to decide what you want to do. So that looks good. So I like it, but it's not exactly 100% what I want. So what we're going to go ahead and do is add another light in. Turn this guy on, put it at 1/64 power. Where is the let's see the grid. And the mirror is one thing from sorry, what was that? On this one you actually have power. There's power. Yep. Wow. Though actually, if you ever really wanted to, there are light bulbs that have a flash slave sinks on them. And these light bulbs you put in a standard Edison port, and they're actually flashes. So if you guys ever wanted to, if you're doing a shoot, and you guys know how tungsten bulbs normally just don't get picked up unless you do a long shutter speed. When you're doing a picture of someone, let's say someone in the roof, and there's a lamp, you want the lamp to show like it's showing light, but you don't want to drag your shutter because it's different color temperature. You can buy 3 or 4 of these bulbs for $15 each, and they'll flash when they detect it. And so they'll emulate the bulb. And so it's a neat thing to do if you guys are never aware of that. So what we have here is a little breakouts. Still no go on yet?
Not yet.
This, import that, so these show online. And another one that I will go ahead and say, I have no idea how much this costs, but we have our other license. So 10. This one is
It's like camera on that.
Okay, so those are the shots I took earlier. Essentially, it's lighting from the side, it's directional lighting. Looks great. Elizabeth looks awesome. It's $20 light. So that's if there's anything I want you guys to have. It's cheap lights. And so I'm getting results that I'm actually kind of happy. So is it critically sharp? I really don't know. There's something about maintenance I don't necessarily care. I suck at technical reviews because I don't look for those small things that can happen operations. So no, I'm reviewing on this. You literally do believe that shoot what I have, I think. And so in a case like this, I think the lens is good enough. I'm sure if we got critical on it, there's going to be issues, but what do you guys think? It's $20 lens.
And the trick is that $20 lens is more better than that.
What I would say is, it's majority, guys, when it comes to photography, it's majority lighting. It's that's the main thing. If you're able to control your light well, if you're able to get the exposure correct. Have you guys ever heard the advantages of a full-frame camera over a crop camera? It's mostly dynamic range. Well, that's the thing. Like dynamic range, your camera can only capture so much. In one of our lighting classes I teach, and I'm going to go ahead and quickly say this. You guys are in a basement, and the door opens. Your eyes adjust to the light on the top side, so you can see everything clear here. Also, looking out there, takes a little bit for your eyes to transition. You have roughly about 25 to 30 seconds. That's the measurement. Your camera only captures 8. So do the math. Your camera captures 8 pieces. So your eyes see more than what the cameras can capture. Thing is, a full frame camera captures about 12. So there is a distinct difference between 5 and 4. Dynamic range is the difference between brightest power and seeing and darkest power. So if you're able to make the darkest power a little brighter and bright parts a little darker, you can press that range. Instead of having 30 stops, you're down to 12, you're down to 8. If you're able to get all the way down to only 2 stop range difference, then you get a scene that you can capture really well with the product. With the full frame. Have you guys ever, have you ever shot by a restaurant and you're able to see sunlight, and all of a sudden your iPhone looks exactly like what you did? That's because your dynamic range is so squashed in. It's only about 4 stops. And so, for anyone who's ever wondering, like, why you see a photographer with studio lights, this is one of my favorite things that I teach in the lighting class. If you have, these are arbitrary numbers, if you have 30 back, you have, let's say, a measurement of 40. You have a measurement of 5, what's the difference between 45? 35. Can your camera capture 35? No. Let's say you add 30 to 5. Yeah, 40 back here, now you have 30 plus 5. You have 35, right? That's a hate to that there's math. What's the difference between these? Okay, your camera capture. That's exactly what photography is. You already have existing light in the background. Now in the foreground, you're introducing light. It's adding that curve. It's adding that. It's adding that 100. So if you ever see my photography and all of a sudden there's heavy clouds in the background, and it looks amazing. No, it's not sunset that's causing that. It's the fact that I'm saying, screw the fact that it's 6 o'clock right now, 5 o'clock, and it's really bright. I'm going to up my flash power so high that now it's 50 in the back, it was 20 in the front. I'm going to make it 70 up front and make it 50 in the back. So now it's a lot darker and a lot brighter up front. So that's how it works. That's exactly how it works. So anyways, here's the extra light. I always go off on tangents stuff, and when it comes to lighting, I don't care. All right. So, hon, go ahead. Actually, I need the memory card. So, cool thing about this, the difference here, guys, in comparison to the other shoot that I did is Elizabeth and I have known each other 8 years. We aren't necessarily photographer model, but the cool thing is she's really good at what she does. But I mean, you wouldn't really say you're a model. You just enjoy doing this, right? But she engages the camera in a way that professional models get paid for. She's outstanding, and I'm thankful. You know, she believes in me and she works with me. And essentially, I just let her do whatever. You know, it's pretty much, and a lot of times she just knows what she wants to do. So even in like these small little things where she's adjusting, you guys have probably seen shots. You're like, oh, I would take that. That's kind of what I like. What I like with her. But also in general, I'll go ahead and say this. This is different from person to person. But something that I said in the last class, you know, I was trying to shoot guys, and I'm going to here, is I actually really don't worry too much about my photography. What I mean by that is a long time ago, this is very personal. You guys are learning a little bit more about me. I used photography as a 10, 12 years ago as a media life. It was a super fun rush. Just got out of high school and out of high school for 2 years. But not necessarily what's coming on. You know, all these older people are, you know, they're more settled down. I'm still trying to find my way. I'm like, oh, what's the meaning of life? Like an idiot, though, I realized if I even answered it, there's 6 billion other people. What the hell do I know if I answered it? Why can't I find that else? So I just realized I just ask. Love people. So photography has been an amazing benefit to you. Essentially, when I work with someone, when I do writings, I absolutely adore writings because it's the most important part of that person. One of those, like, if you count 10 creations of figures, one of those things that count, one of those things. And the photography allows you to do that. And so, why I'm going off on that is with working with models and working with so on. I just thought, and in the end of it all, guys, I'll go ahead and say this. If you're shooting for 2 hours, you're only expecting almost 5 to 10 images less. And so you'll get those in the first 30 minutes of use. But essentially, let's go ahead and say we've gotten 2 photos that we were ready to use in the first 6 shots. So it's something I just wanted to point out to you guys. So that one is not popping back there. Take a look, Jay, on the camera or the video?
Nope.
All right, so this is looking a little bit more professional for me. I kind of like that. It has an edge light on. Once again, I wish I was able to show you guys immediately how it looks. Let's go ahead and look at that. You see that? Beautiful. Okay. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and show you a few of these people online. Once again, I'm really sorry. I wish you guys could see this. So we're going to go ahead and upload some photos and just show you guys real quick. Is there any questions that you guys have concerning anything that you see here, so on? You guys see the studio light being used, right? It doesn't look anything different. It looks like just any, I mean, it looks like you don't even know if there's a pro photo in there, or so on. It's just a studio light's a studio light. For 50 bucks, would you guys say that's results that you expect from a $50 light? If I, All right, so I mean, I'm sure you can be critical on some stuff about it, and I will go ahead and say this: she's obviously bringing a huge amount of quality to the scene. But I actually do like that because we know that the only thing that could be any issue might be the equipment, but there really isn't any, guys. I mean, the light works really well. Oh, I guess that is my everyday comments that I get. Like, hey, let's see what the comments are on my pictures. Where's this location? It's like, who's this model? I'm like, so. All right, so guys, any questions?
Just a quick question. As far as making lights, I think there was old 1970s, like that. Are those things, can they put to the mix and still use nowadays?
Yeah, actually, what you want to do, this is more thorough than you probably expected. Are they hot sheets? Are they like are they hot sheet flash? They're standalone? Oh yeah, a light is a light. A light is a light. The only issue that comes with older lights is the color quality might be off. So it might not be necessarily a perfected 55 degrees, but a light's a light. We're going to go to if the car is 85 HD or something like that, and they have a hot sheet, you not mounted on your camera. Instead of being, I believe it's, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, standard default one is 1.5, but those are like 6. Instead of a completely loaded hot sheet, then you have to move them on. There are newer, good price, 55, but those are about 5 years, 5 years in the past. There's so many great under hot sheet products that are probably used that much of a selling point. But old lights are lights. We could have gone the whole cheap route and brought work lights. We could have brought 500 watt work lights and shot. As long as using our light class, you learn that the best is light, sort of like a soft light directionality. We would show you how to look at it. And so we'll save less as long as they work. The only thing I'm going to say is rear arm lights. I also have it's an AX. I don't know, 285. So the only thing I'll say about it, guys, just so you're aware, is those flashes. There's a S2 and an S1. If you use your TTL on your camera, there's a free flash that goes out. Make sure you're on S2 for the slate functionality. And if you're using TTL on your iPhone, you can't use those slate flashes because they'll go off on the free flash. You have to put your camera on manual if you're going to do that. So just remember that. There. So, all right, guys. So I'm going to continue shooting here. And online, guys, I'm so sorry. Might be one of those things where we revisit in the future, but what we may try, guys, online is to see Jamie try this. I'm the IT guy. I used to work for Dell. Missed it. Guys, you guys see the kind of quality that's coming off there. The cool part about this is $33. It's a red light. So it's nice, it's a nice, well-controlled light here. Something I'll go ahead and switch to from ISO 50. So we go to ISO 400. And the thing is shooting at a higher f-stop. I get a lot of this. Is actually surprising. People will look at my next data. They're surprised that I'm shooting at X's. They're surprised I'm shooting at I don't think necessarily is that something I do take pride in. If you look at my work, you'll see it going from 1.2 to F30. It covers the whole game. Yes, I know there's refraction on that. There's technical people in here. I will go ahead and say this. If you ever show me a picture of a bookcase, I'm glad. Because I'm not one of those people who say take a lens
to shoot a bookcase. I have an 85 1.2 that have more problems than the new one. Not the last one I know, but I've seen ones that are really sensitive on that. And she really cheap on that. It's one of those things that just use equipment as it is. And so, in a case like this, you can go ahead and say, try high and stop shooting. What can I solve for that? So what we're going to do is shoot a few at high and stop. And I'm going to show you guys how to standard shooting style. So it goes something I absolutely love to do is to highlight sort of the angles. So, and one way of doing that is to see a deeper light. Oh, that's at least that's something.
Yeah, it's
And are we still sharing the screen?
still sharing the screen. Yeah. I mean, I can just leave that up.
Yeah, hopefully that's good enough. I wish it could do a little bit better, but we'll see. That's probably what's going to look for in the future. Alright, so now let's see. Alright, look right at the light. Alright, so I'm shooting f14, guys. Lighting setup that you guys see here is directional light coming from one side and there. So that really light, something I love about it is it's controlling that light, it's controlling that still. I'm actually purposely acting up the photo by adding light, or doing light in the back. It's adding a nice flare element. Okay, so let me show you guys what I'm getting over here. Jamie, thank you for fixing that. Guys online, looks like this is the best we could do, and I'm actually happy with that. So, all right, so now, let's import this in. More questions, guys. Anything you want to ask? White balance on this one right now, sir, is flash. So, looks like it's pretty accurate. And I'll go ahead and say this. Unless this thing dies during the session, I actually think I can say, guys, this light will do what you want it to do. And it's pretty much like, it looks like it's working. It looks like it's popping a nice, consistent color. Do me a favor, critique it then, or critique or comment on the photos that you're seeing. What are you guys noticing? What are you guys? It's a little bit distracting. We can deal with that. Yeah, it doesn't look like those awesome $10 chairs that I bought. These things were amazing. But with the light more from it was $7.50. So this is the one that I just added with that flash in the background. So you guys have probably seen stuff like that in ads and so on. There's burning and dodging. Something I kind of like, or I try to shoot, or I try to do, guys, is here's a firm belief. Post-processing isn't actually, I'm a big food guy, so I'm gonna go ahead and use my food now. I consider photography like making a cake. If the cake tastes good, post-processing is the icing that makes it taste better. But if you don't put the icing on it, it's still good cake. And so essentially with photography, what I try to do is I try to make the photos look good. Of course, post-processing may make it look a little bit better. But I want to do it so if someone sees my photos, they say, okay, that's technically shot. I know it seems really silly saying that, but I'm big about, I'm really huge about sharing my stuff with other photographers. Another firm belief I have, you guys are going to kind of laugh at this one, is something I hated so much when I was newer at photography, and I actually wasn't part of the group who was considered so new at it.
I'll sit with a bunch of experienced photographers, and they would complain about new photographers. Some of you guys may have heard this before, but some of you, those who don't know me, I hate people who sit and complain and never, ever offer to provide a solution. It's one of the biggest things that my personal belief is you raise the skill sets of those around you, and you're accountable for yourself. It's your own damn fault if everyone else gets better and you don't. And so if you're able to help everyone around you, it's, you know, you are also responsible to help yourself to be better than you were the day before. And so with education and so on, I know it sounds like a broken record when it comes to the education side. We really believe it. We really want you to get better, because the other belief I have is build your own house, you can do that. Let's build a skyscraper, you're going to need a team. But you probably want the best people around you to do that. In Atlanta, that's how it works. You want some of the best photographers in Atlanta? I'll help them. And then they're going to help you, and that's how it's going to go on. And so, with this, guys, anything you guys see, anything you guys want to talk about? You're so quiet. Everyone here's so quiet. All right, so I'm loving the results I'm getting from this line. Yeah, well, ratios are dependent on two things. Or there's a lot of things that you can affect ratios with. Let's say they were Rodney lights and you can't change the power. They're just full power. Sorry, Rodney, but back when you were my age, when you only had candles or flashes, there's only one consistent power. Something that you can always do is when you move light away, it's weaker. For those who don't know, just know this. When you move a light twice the distance away, it is not half the power. It is a quarter of the power. It is critical to remember that. And so if I have a light and it's over here, and I'll switch this back so people online can see us, this is important. So guys online, hopefully you guys can see that. We're about this far away. We're about 2.5 to 3 feet away. If I move to 6, it's a quarter of the power, guys. It's not half. And where it's really critical is if I move it from here to here, twice the distance in, now it's 4 times stronger. That's the important part. So 4 times stronger, 8, 16, you know, it's gets exponentially. So why is that important though? This is where it's really cool. I know this seems weird right here, guys, but this is actually done a lot right here. Super close right there. I'm going to go to ISO 50 f16. Hopefully that's the numbers. I think so. Jay, can you check the video on Alright, so we are dramatically closer there. I'm going to adjust the power here. So okay, so actually, it's not as strong as I thought the light would be. Well, I actually didn't work. Alright guys, I think you're going to love this. I'm at ISO 50 F9 using using a $50 strobe. I think it's 180 watts, right? So, all right. So the first few I got were a little bit dark. Cool thing about that is it's recoverable. I should put this on my side. So one more. Or is that it? Okay. Is it online, Jamie, or? All right, so guys, what do you think? F16, ISO, or F9, ISO 50. Usable. I mean, there's post-processing I'll probably do, stuff like that, but I mean, what would you expect? It's a $20 lens being shot. That's kind of the trick here. You know, that's sort of a what we have going. Jamie, do you have that 50 millimeter? All right, so something that I do love about weaker lights is they get weak. And what I mean by that is I have Jamie's 1.8 here. So we're going to put the 1.8 on, and we're put it at pretty much 2.0. The reason why I'm using this one is this is Canon's Classic Fantastic. $70 now used, 51.8. This thing breaks so much. I hate it because the 2.8 STM was released, 40 millimeter, and that thing is so much better. It's pretty much all that large model also. But this one's so good. Screw you, Jamie, for saying, isn't it the same as 50 millimeter? I had a go 50 like 1.2. Like that ball for me a long time ago. James was like, oh, this thing one. Shit. This should be that way. Alright, so this flash. And Jamie is a competency. Can you Alright, so I'm going to put this on. It's not exactly 100% what I want, guys, but what I wanted to show you is something I love about really weak flashes. And you could do this with your own speed light. The only problem is you don't have a modeling light on the speed light. Is you can shoot, you can shoot at like ISO 100, 2.8, 2.0. And so that's what we were doing. The only problem there is you want to be extremely critical with it. It looks great on the back of your screen, but everything looks good when it's really small and compressed. But when you actually look at it in front of your screen at home, it doesn't look as sharp as you thought it was. So for anyone who knows that good old Postal Service song, everything looks good far away, that's pretty much the same idea. When you're looking at a picture on your screen, it's essentially really far away. You want to get critical on it and look up close. So, yep. So that's 2.2, guys. That's shooting at 2.2 with a strobe inside a studio. And so that's pretty nice there. Let's go ahead and stand up, if you can. Jamie, can you hold it? Let's stand in front of the black one. Stand in front of the black one. switch to cameras.
See darkness.
And we'll see how it looks out. I don't necessarily know. Focus.
Some troubleshooting time, guys. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Actually, perfect. Yeah, $200 an hour.
What I want to show you here is 1.8 shooting with a SLR. So I'm shooting with studio strobe at 1.8. Let's go ahead and put the lights down, guys. She still wants her tacos? Seriously? And so at 1.8, guys, you get that great depth of field, where if you're able to knock it correctly, it just goes right into that shallow. So the way we can really exploit this is, Elizabeth, go ahead and have a seat, please. Something for those who aren't aware, if you're able to shoot slightly above, you'll get a great neckline. So what I'm looking for is, can I grab that shirt? Is any of those? Then Jamie. Switch this out so people see what's going on. I love that low resolution. Sorry, guys, I'm looking for a step ladder. You set it there? Step left. So probably do that and she had the angle that you're really in. I'm going to play line itself. So I'm going to go ahead and say, see that. All right, let's move here. You see so many compliments in a lot of times. Alright guys, so this is me on a step to a little bit above. Shooting. Alright. It's kind of like beating a dead horse. I think we've proven enough of light to light, guys. So anything. I'm almost begging you because we really don't have a plan. It's actually, I got in the results almost as early as I wasn't expecting. Actually, I wasn't expecting. I was just like, nah. I mean, pretty much it's all looking as I would expect with a two. Which one? Oh, that one over there? I could, but it's a light source that I wouldn't think is as complementary to or because it's a small light source. So the light's a little bit, we'll wait until the raw shows up, but light looks a little bit harsh there. But I also have a very aggressive sharpening algorithm on my black and whites. So portraiture isn't necessarily the greatest thing. Because I can always delete the JPEGs. Is all I have to do in Lightroom is go to Library, go to Metadata, select File Type, go to JPEG, highlight this, Metadata, JPEG. It will highlight every JPEG, select all of them, delete it instantaneously. I shoot with 232 gig cards and 64, so JPEGs at the end will take at most 8 gigs of it. I don't know who asked me that question, but I don't really shoot as much as I used to think I didn't shoot that much, but I fill about 3 terabytes every 2 months. So we're doing video and stuff like that. So it's just we shoot a lot. So it looks pretty cool though, right, guys? So all right. So look at this guy. Yo, what is this? No, I do not blame this guy because every time we shoot, Elizabeth and I are shooting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And we're like, where's Jamie? It'd be so much nicer, Jamie. I wonder where he's This is something you guys may notice. I'm not actually telling you I'm actually going really slowly. I know some people do this. Take a picture of where I'm saying this. Because you have direct access to all these files. They're uploading them to Dropbox. And you shoot each timestamp the exact time you shot the video. Being here, you can actually have visual setup and results in the code. You guys see what I'm saying? Yep. I'm not going to do that with people. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just really but you drop your camera, just make sure to do that if you can. Because, yeah, what I'm going through is just all the routine basic setups we have for headshots. Alright, I think you guys are going to love this. Yeah. I'm sure actually
I lost one.
All right, so let me show you this one. So this is going just to a basic 2-light setup, 1 light on the background. You actually really don't even need it. We're just throwing it in for flare. Nice soft shadows, guys. Nice little modifier we have here. So it looks great. I mean, essentially, it's like a light to light, guys. Pretty much it's what it is. Like if, you know, take our lighting classes, it'll show you, I'll tell you more in detail, but I'll go ahead and break it down to the 2 basic things. Most important thing when it comes to lighting is where you put the light. Light moves in the three-dimensional space around your subject. And also the size of the light source, the bigger the light source, the softer the shadows. Always remember that, the bigger the light source, softer the shadows. And so try to get a big modifier if you can, if you like soft light, but if you like harsher light, go for a smaller modifier. Thing that I teach at all my lighting classes, but I also say this to everyone, is on the opposite side of where light hits is what, guys? Remember that until the end of time. It's the most obvious thing in the world, but the other thing I also teach in class is complicated things are just a bunch of obvious things put together. It just piles on all up, and you get confused, and it gets annoying. That's all complicated things are. The most obvious thing in the world is on the opposite side of where light hits, the shadow. If you see a shadow and you don't like it, what do you move, guys? You move the light that's causing the shadows. Just remember that. If you're ever out there and you see a shadow, Uncle Joe has a shadow, and I'll go and show you guys. This happens all the time. I teach this in the lighting class. Small light source. It's going to give you a really fun shadow. You guys see that right there? It's right on your camera. This is why we lift our lights on. You guys see what's happening with the shadow? All right, there you go. Shadow moves in the opposite direction. Some people shoot like this. Don't tell them. You know, they'll put the flash. I've seen people do that. I have no idea what that would do. Unless they want that shadow. So opposite side of where light hits is the shadow. You don't like the shadow, it's obviously behind or above. So you get the light above. The dark shadow below. You guys see that? So that's one of the basic rules. And then the other thing that I like to tell people is light moves in three-dimensional space around your subject, not you. It's very Copernicus, not what people used to think before the sun revolved around the earth. The earth revolves around the sun. That is sun. Your light, you know, your light is going to move around, which doesn't mean stuff like that. Anyways, so you guys see that? And the closer it is to your camera, the lighter the light. The further it's away, the more dramatic it's going to be. If the last thing I'll go ahead and say on this, as an educator when it comes to it, is if your light's behind your subject, guys, what's the most important thing in this picture? So, the subject. Exposed to your subject. Even though the light's back here, it doesn't matter. Overexposed background, because if anyone ever critiques you that your background's overexposed, they don't notice that their subject, which is the most important thing in the photograph, is exposed correctly. What the hell is that critique is that? If that's the most important thing in the image, it should be correctly exposed. So what I mean by that, guys, if you ever have a light behind your subject, like the sun, you guys see how many shadows on your face? Your eyes see the shadows, but your camera can correctly pick up the exposure on your face. And so always expose correctly to your subject. Alright, so let's keep on shooting some more. That's good there. We're going to go ahead and do more of a simple catalog type fashion look. One light. Turn this power up. Alright, so you go, so 50 guys, go back to 9, go all the way back here. Elizabeth, pose, I think I've been through before. And 7 back. Good fashion. Oh, no part of the audience. That's great, Johnny. Can you pull that power cord so it's out of the Out that way.
Right, and we didn't get modified speed light. It helps. The thing is that these modifiers, talking about speed light guys is if you don't need it, you don't use it. If you need it, you should have it. And so, a regular grid, the grid for a speed light, normally if you buy like a local one, it's going to be $20 just for the speed light. And they only give you the local strap, but the optic one is $10 and give you the local strap. So it's just $5 added. We may need it, we may not. In this case, with Amazon, what buy Amazon? Or just buy it. Optic online, optic grid, optic grid. So it's $10 to $15 in the loss. All right, let's get arms up. And look out to your left. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some shots and hits. Actually, our launch. And stretch out, stretch out. Look straight towards that. Sorry, towards the wash your left. Face this way. And now turn your face towards the left. So yeah, this is more of a kind of fashion look. So let's go ahead and see how slow this is. So Jane, can you turn off that light and switch it with the Rolly box? Go and show you guys with the Rolly box. It looks like here that we're probably going to give you guys time to shoot with Elizabeth. So if you guys can, go ahead and tip her if you can. If you guys brought any cash with you, and also, not that I was expecting it, but pretty much she looks great. Commercial releases, we'll just say, are $10 if you guys want it tonight for her. It's not needed at all, but I suggest buying it. All right, so what do you guys think? Pretty cool, right? So yeah, let's see with the basic, too much. I think it's a JPEG. I think that's the JPEG that I'm on. Let me go see if I can. Wait, did I? So let's turn on vignetting, and it is hot in here. Yeah, it's freaking. What does it say? They used to call it poverty wizards for the old one. So it's not pro photo, I guess it's like poor photo, like lights or something like that. It's a poor little thing. It's giving out great results, guys. I'm loving what this light's doing for me. So, all right, so that's more of a fashion type look, guys. So, let's go and do this. All right. And so now we're going to go straight to a hard light. No
no modifier look.
And on your headphone, positive, light. And you put the camera. All right, this looks cool. Guys. This looks. This looks actually nice. Sure. Jay. So that's cool. You guys. Yes. No. Okay, so should you do a case?
So that's what the smaller or the no umbrella on it, guys. Nice, nice harsh light source. Works well. I'm really happy with the results from it. Going back to what the root of this is, low budget shooting. Once again, $20 lens. It's pretty much, it's on a good, capable camera, but you know, there is, you know, just for full disclosure, there is advantages that this camera is going to allow. Is it necessarily sharpness? No, but there is noise and so on that this camera is going to have a little bit less of. But if you nail a proper exposure with a crop camera or with a 20D, you know, an older camera, a 30D or a 20D, it's still going to look pretty good. Something that I'll go ahead and push here, guys, it's all about lighting. It really is. And what I wanted to show here is you don't have to buy a modifier, but I think that's cool looking. So let me go ahead and adjust that. It's slightly off. I'll push the histogram to where it says it should be correct, a little bit more correct. Oh. And what do you guys think? That's fine? Like, it works, right? It's the histogram. Here's actually what's really cool. You're in Lightroom. If you go to a file, and I'll show you this. How are you, Jamie? Okay, so I'm going to actually do this. All right, guys, has anyone ever seen a photo like this on their camera? Yeah, it's a little bit underexposed. Who here, I mean, I'm not going to give a history class, but who here knows enough about your history? Anyone know anything? Would you guys like a lesson on your histogram? Free of charge. This is remember, just take our classes later. All right, guys, we talked about dynamic range earlier. Your camera can only capture so much, right? The histogram is a showcase of the darkest tones in your image, which is the left-hand part, and the lightest tones. Essentially, if your camera is overexposed or underexposed, it's going to cap off on one end. So if you have pure white, it's going to cap off on the right. If you have pure black, it's going to cap off on the left. Don't worry about the top and the bottom portion. Just worry about the right and the left. So you have a predominant amount of dark tones in your image, black, brown, dark blue, stuff like that. You're going to favor the left of the histogram. If you're doing a high key image, you're going to favor the right, where there's a lot of bright tones. Thing to know with it is, this is what I tell people, this is what I tell my students. All your bulls in the pen. What you want to do is you want to make sure the bulls are within the pen. If you're overspilling on one end, those are a lot of people getting killed by those bulls. If you're overspilling on the other end, it's not as bad because you can recover dark tones better than you can recover light tones. But essentially, you're spilling over. And so what contrast is, guys, is a good quality separation in your current histogram. So if you have a spike here and a spike here, you got a lot of contrast. I'll go ahead and show you this real time. Go ahead and move this to the middle, right here. And so I move this in, and I'll tell you guys a little bit more about this in just a second. But see how I'm kind of peaking right in the middle, guys? If you look at my image, it looks unnatural, but it's low contrast. Here's what contrast is. You take the outer edges, and you pull this out, and you take this edge, and you pull that out. You guys see what's happening with the image? You're taking your range that you currently have, and you're expanding it out, and you're making it more contrast. Essentially, what your histogram says is if you have an image, and it's perfectly exposed, there's no perfect histogram. A perfect histogram is you looking at it, and I'm a darker skin tone, I have a black shirt, let's say I'm in front of a black wall. Where should your histogram relatively be close to, guys? That side. If you're spiking on the right, what's the problem? You're overexposed because there's no light tones, and why the hell are you over there? Type thing. But if it's all the way to the left, so you only see a spike on the left, there's a little bit of bright. There's white, like right here. You know that there is, some light data there. If you have none of that, it says, okay, your histogram's off. You kind of you're going to get used to reading your histogram, but essentially, what I'll go ahead and say about this, guys, is if you see a histogram and it looks like this, and you know there's light in the scene, is there light in that scene, like, white, brightness, pink, whatever? You can probably tell that image is underexposed, right? Your camera will tell you each of these lines is, I think, a stop or one stop. This one's telling you that it's 2 stops off. And so adjust your camera 2 stops. So that's how you can immediately look at an image after you take it and say, I'm underexposed or overexposed. That's how.
That's really important too. Use cameras. Picking out, really, and doing that something
And what's really important here too is your camera has no idea what's human, no idea what your subject is, no idea what's blocked, or so on. It just knows the scene. And so when I was saying earlier about your subject, guys, and exposing for that, your histogram isn't always going to be perfectly what the camera selects. That's where you go into manual and you choosing the right histogram yourself is critical as your success as a photographer. But in a case like this, what's wrong with the histogram, guys? Going back to what we were covering. What do you guys notice here in the histogram? What side is it favoring?
Dark side.
Dark side, left side, right? Don't you kind of just want to grab it and move to the right? This is what I love about Lightroom. Remember, I teach a Lightroom class. It's $50, but I love you guys. It's free, online. You go to the same page that this is hosted off. We've taught this class for years now, a Lightroom class, and it's yours free. If you like it, donate something to us. But it's our full 3-hour class that I talk about all of this and how you can edit and post-process. You just grab it, go here, and you move it. That's how Lightroom works. You just move the histogram. I think it should be here, and it's going to start recovering. If you're on RAW, it's going to recover it better. If you're on JPEG, you're going to start seeing artifacting and so on. You have a bigger tolerance of editing when it comes to RAW. And so that looks cool already, right, guys? we just move the histogram. That's how it works. All right, so that looks good. We're going to go ahead and go to one more, and then anyone who's still following me online, hopefully you guys got something out here. We're going to switch to the Roll box and edit with that. Let's change that. So exciting. So exciting. All right, you guys see how my Rolly box is? Super simple, super easy. So, only thing I don't like about Rolly box is this points out. And so you can only get so close to a person. I think the soft line actually has time. Funny thing about this is Jamie and I, 6 months ago, 7 months ago, 1 a.m. in Kroger parking lot, took photos of this. Let me see if I can find that photo show. Who was it? It wasn't Josie, was it? I know Josie was a normal softbox.
Yeah, it was just,
But was it? No, that was Connie House, right? That we shot in front of. Let me see if I can see by the reflection of the eyes. Well, a Broly box I use all the time. It's great. It's portable. Look at that ass. It's ass. Sorry, ass again. But anyways. Oh, I guess I didn't put Josie there. Look at you, Elizabeth. It's you again. That closet was awesome. Okay, this is actually just standard. This I know is Kroger at 1 o'clock in the morning, pretty much. So just so you guys know, you can shoot anywhere. So this is because that purple you see in the back is me finding a plastic trash bag and putting it over the studio string. And so that's the photo we got out of it right there. This right here is the parking lot out front, right there. So she was just standing right underneath the shade. So yeah, I think that was it because I don't see. You guys see how we roughly got this one now from what we just shot?
Yeah.
That was here. Yeah, that was actually that studio. So this thing, seeing a picture like that reminds me of Kenny Loggins or something for some reason. It reminds me of the 80s. So, all right. Lighting's simple, guys. Mostly with something like this for those, and anyone who thinks they're going to go ahead and just buy one of these lights now, you should. Like, if you don't have a light, just buy one.
So the big out was
these actually, like, this light look speed light's good. I love that one that I just got. After introduced recently. And this is really cool right here, guys. The reason why I love these lights is, you'll notice this is not double LED. It's a lithium ion. And so they refresh faster, and they last. If you go 1/32 power, 1/16, you get about 3,000 shots. And so it's, what would you say? I mean, it's, what did they say, 900 horsepower? And yeah, it's like 1.25 seconds for recycling in full power. And these packs are only 30 runs each. They charge in 2 hours. And so with the flash, you get a charger, the flash, and what else? A battery. And it's on this is newer, but newer makes a cheaper one. It's the same model, NEWDR. But Godex, G-O-D-O-X, which is also Godex, which makes like this. The model number is TT. All right. So here's a Rolly box that I saw this. So guys, alright, so I'll tell the story so there's no issue, guys. This poor girl walked at Jenna. Jenna was first in guys. We're like, oh, look at that log there. That's a mysterious looking plant. Let me go sit on it while I'm painted in gold. 2 days later, poison ivy. Okay.
What's the difference between that
Really, the size of the light source, the size of that one's a lot bigger. This one's not big, so it's essentially, this is another lighting class. I'm giving you guys so much extra. So if you guys don't retain the knowledge, great, because that means you take my classes. And okay, but for those who have good memory, you're getting a huge benefit. Essentially, the bigger your light source, the softer your shadows. You get nice softness. That light, or the modifier you guys just saw, is a fairly big light source, but it also has a grid on it. Essentially, every light source is roughly 160 degrees of light that goes out. A grid says it's now down to 50. It's now down to 40. What I want to go ahead and tell you guys, whoever wants to listen to this, grids do not condense light. Your light is actually weaker because you don't have as much. And so if you put a grid on your light, it's going to really kill the power. And so gridded light and all that, all of a sudden your light power just dies. So, all right, so let's see how this looks. See if it, it should be. Are you, Jamie? Are you aiming the light into the umbrella, or is it facing? All right. So. Thank you. I didn't notice it before. Jamie, can you? No. Oh shit! I totally should. Shit. All right, so we're gonna switch it around, guys, and then we're gonna do some more. Alright, so what we're using is a smaller light source. We have a fill as a, or we have the umbrella as a kicker light in the back. Show you guys a few of these. We'll do about 15 more minutes of shooting, and then I'm going to let you guys shoot. Just showing you guys a few ideas using the Broly box also. Online, if anyone can do me a favor, if anyone has that link, the email that you got sent out, see if your or see if Dropbox is populating with photos. If anyone can do that on their phone, I would love you. The raw files are going up there too, so that means I'm giving you guys the files.
Oh,
That's kind of crazy from tonight. So, as always, they belong to me, but it is one of those things where you guys can open up the raw files at home and critically look at it and see what decisions you want to make on it. You can't take it and say it's yours, guys. I will go ahead and say that now. If you see anyone take it and say it's their own, tell them they're a jerk. So it's a little bit harsh, guys. I mean, the shadow's a little bit tough, but if you work with it and stuff like that, I'm sure we can get something pretty cool with it. So I like the way it looks. So now we're just going to go to the Broly box. All right, so Jamie, let's move the chair back over there. Actually, we're going another chair.
Which one?
Jamie, can you switch the camera on? All right, I want to make you guys ask questions. Ask anything photography related. Come on, guys. The link was sent via email. That was a photography question. Anyone else?
You score
No, directionality. Directionality is going for drama. Opposite side where light is split. So if the light is on the right hand side, there's a shadow. Or left hand side, stuff like that. So what's important is if the light's coming directly from you, where's the shadow? It's behind your subject. It's obscured by your subject, so you have this flat, extremely lit, extremely lit scene. Where this is critical, I'll go ahead and point this out, is if your subject has a wider face like me, what's the issue you have if you light all of my face? Camera adds 10 pounds, I look that much heavier. If you take that same light and you move it 45 degrees and put it on me, all of a sudden I look like Clint Eastwood. It's that dramatic, guys. And so if you have someone who has a longer face, then the light that's directly on them will actually make their face look wider. It's some of those things that it's just how it works. So, let's see, guys, how we make this. Jamie?
Alright, so yeah, we have this nice little really awesome software on the left-hand side. And then like that. And then let's get it. One way, you guys turn sideways. And let's up. And left hand. And right knee, right foot. On the chair. Certain thing that you guys noticed stood out about like sort of what we're doing, certain like anything like that. Are there any expectations that you guys have? Or tonight? Well, I like pretty much one night over and over again. It's pretty fun. You spend twice as much money a year. Pretty slide. That's really true. So basically, we're charging people. This is what the teacher see these guys coming during that loss. Where are you guys doing? Anything else here? There's some wall. Oh, yeah, it's on the whole one. So Jamie, turn the light to the robots right away. The other way. I'll give you more. They should face it to you. That's it. Those are turn sides. Jimmy,
that light behind or really to the left. Not behind you, one, they one that are the roll off, but it's straight on the left hand side. Bring it slightly back to you.
All right, guys, I'm going to show you these last few, and I'll let you guys shoot. Anyone who's online, I think you guys can see that using cheap equipment doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get cheap results. For another disclaimer thing is you have a guy who does a lot of photography. And so you have kind of, I guess you have experience behind it. Something I don't necessarily know if you guys will agree with this, but I'm going to go ahead and point it out. I don't think tenure matters as much as a photographer. You can say you're a photographer for 25 years, and you've seen, probably you guys all know photographers who work for 25 years, and you're like, really? Something that I am proud of that Meet and Shoot allows that you guys allow is I do shoot almost every day. And if you're friends with me on Facebook, it's a lot of different stuff too. Like it's extremely different. You'll see a lot more of my portraiture, but if there's something that I believe in, it's for anyone who wants to educate you, they have to apply it, or they have to actually go out there and be doing it. And please look at my work, and not to say, just to see the technicalities behind it. If you guys ever have any questions, feel free to ask. But that's how it looks with that background, guys. So before we let you guys shoot online, thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and drop you guys for now. I'm going to answer any questions over here. Thank you, everyone who